Kathleen, you've been a political activist since you were 7 years old and got into a confrontation with a bus driver about sitting in the front of the bus. And you've really worked, coalition building is your specialty, and it feels like right now no one is working together. You know, if you worked for Congress, how would you fix that problem?
Well, one, the view from the margins is a very good view. Being a lesbian, being black, being a woman, I can see that there are movements going on in our country right now against those groups and other groups. It's a really easy thing to see. What I would say is if people are not paying attention on how to connect up and make this a broader issue, a superordinate issue, one that is bigger than our individual personal involvement, our individual identity politics, then we won't move forward. We will not resist the pressure on us to keep moving backwards and to go more and more into our little shells. I think what they're calling the war on women is just another piece of a civil rights issue. The war on immigrants, the war on gay and lesbian people, and it will expand, and it will continue. And if we keep acting as though identifying the problem is the solution, it is not.
Yeah. Well, and the civil rights movement, good point. So I was thinking about the civil rights movement in the 60s and the fact that things were very different back then in the way that people approached protest and they approached trying to make a change. How do you feel like the lessons of that movement can be brought to the people who are having the same problems right now?
What's interesting about that movement that a lot of people don't know is that Huey Newton, in 1972, I think it was, wrote an article encouraging the militant black people to join with the gay people as an oppressed group. Now, those lessons have been ignored. Other lessons of history have been ignored because there's been a competitive feeling to whatever the struggle was. I don't want you to get yours till I get mine, as opposed to, let's get yours and then we'll get some more. Let's keep on moving. I think the best example for me is the first women's rights gathering in Seneca Falls, New York, where Frederick Douglass actually sat on the stage with a shotgun to help protect the women who were being harassed and challenged on their right to assemble in public. When black men were given the vote, it precipitated a split in that movement. Instead of people saying, hey, you got the vote, now let's move on, let's all get the vote. They divided. They divided along racial lines, primarily. And that is so deep in our country. And we talk about it so little. And it gets in our way when we are trying to build alliances and trust and to move forward with people.
So it feels to me like it's about the fear of losing power that you've just gained. You feel like you can't help other people or bring them along with you. And so much, I think, of groups not helping each other is about fear. I mean, how do you get people to get beyond that?
You do it in spite of fear. If everybody lets fear stop them, or everybody in the past had let fear stop them from doing what was right, we'd still be probably living in caves and, fighting saber-toothed tigers or something. You have to understand that fear is a normal process. When you push at the world is going to push back. And it is scary to stand up and say, I stand for what I say I stand for, over and over again, every time, and know that people don't like that. So the message is, do it anyway.
Thank you so much. Thomas Lauderdale and Kathleen Saadat. They're going to be coming back later to join us for one more song. You've been listening to a snippet of Livewire, the radio variety show that's like a chew toy for your brain. For more information about the show or to download our podcast, visit livewireradio.org.